So let us start with the beginning. The world here. So you have been doing some work, dear Aries, and it looks like the world is in front of you. So whatever efforts you put into the world is what you get rewarded. And the world basically can go any way. So if you focus on the negative, that is what you create from the world is negative. If you focus on the positive, then the pendulum switches to the positive. So try to keep any decisions, any words, of the utmost of integrity and kindness. Really think about how you want to present, how you are speaking, and how you can change some things with agreements, negotiations, and just really being in the higher exalted place when you are communicating. So, but whatever you put out in the world right now, it's really ripe. And if you have done your work for the solar eclipse, this lunar eclipse will just be validation of all your hard work. If you haven't done the work and you've been just thinking about it, unfortunately, spirit kind of comes in and forces you to make those changes. A lot of times from a crisis place, but I don't see a major crisis here. I do see things that you are prepared for, a little bit of fear, but you've been slowly renewing your faith in your own abilities, in your own gifts that you give to the world. So make sure and keep it positive, Aries. Get out of your head a little bit, make some positive motions towards betterment of your life, and it will pay off. So do the work and it will pay off. The world will acknowledge you. What crosses you is the Knight of Cups, and the Cups is a water sign. That's Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I believe this is a person. It is someone probably a little bit on the younger side or the more less mature than you are, Aries. It's feeling like it could be a family member that you've been having some disagreements about these changes. So use your kindness. Just because someone disagrees with you or has a large opinion on what you're doing or how you're doing it doesn't mean that you should halt the progress. I do think some discussions are in order with this water sign. That's Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. And it does feel like they are having some challenges. So it may be a child that you advise. It may be a partner that you're being challenged with, but it is a water sign, and it looks like some of the energy is dipping down into that kind of out of integrity, maybe a little bit of a manipulation place on their part. So speak your words with truth and kindness and see if you can resolve this. But it looks like most of the stuff that they're throwing at you is really their own. They're just kind of bouncing off of it, bouncing off of you. So the more neutral you can be to this predicament, the better, and the more easily it will be resolved. What is above you is the sun. That's new beginnings. That's the baby of things. That's taking all these wonderful, bright, creative ideas and illuminating on them, putting some energy on them, starting a new business. It can't even be starting a new relationship, but this is the beginning of something that you've wanted for a long time. So just shifting your focus from one thing to another and really putting that energy, as I said, in the world, put it into the part that you want, and keeping that positive mindset will help this new wonderful idea move and grow. But it looks like new endeavors, if they haven't become a part of your life already, they are soon to become a part of your life. But it's something that you've wanted to do for quite a while. So it's right there. The seed is planted. So water that idea, put the little energy into it, and watch it grow. So the next one is the Two of Wands, and the twos are always about balance, about finding what works for you, what doesn't, the great balance of the world. It also looks like you are looking at your world a little differently, Aries, than you have in many, many years, or many instances. You're looking at things just a little bit differently, with a little more compassionate heart, a little bit more open. You've healed yourself a little bit from some of the traumas from the past, and whether they're breakups or whether they're family legacy issues, you've healed yourself. You really have. So it's time to march into your future and really grab up those goals, those bucket lists. Looks like travel may be on your plate. The water is lighting up for me. So maybe going to the mountains, finding an escape, just so you can rejuvenate, get your energy back, as you've been doing quite a lot of work, Aries, and really looking at some hard things. I know a lot of my Aries are looking at addictions. They're looking at kind of relationships that are toxic for them and not really progressing. They're looking at habits. They're looking at legacy pain from the family that was gifted to you at birth. So you've really looked at a lot of things and honestly moved them out, and kind of adopted a new way of looking at things. Kind of letting go of some of the old ways of looking things, still incorporating, that it is part of who you are, but really looking at things differently in order to create for yourself. So really looking at that bucket list. Where do you want to travel? What are the things you've always wanted to do? So you are planting the seeds here. So it looks like more of the same, and really focusing on creating either travel, an escape, and really finding your balance, gifting yourself a little bit more than you have in the past. So that is something that has just happened. There has shifted. That's just happened. And then in the present time is the King of Pentacles. Pentacles are an earth sign. That's Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. And I really do feel this is an exalted man that's either coming into your life, or are you aware that you are aware of them? They are wise. Looks like wise beyond their years. They have a lot of physical energy. Earth signs have a lot of physical energy. So that's Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. So it looks like either this is a mentor, could be a new prospect for a love relationship, or just a good friend. But it's someone from a heart connection that you are communicating with a little bit more, and kind of cleaning up some things. Also getting some advice on your next step. But for many of you, this may be just a wise person. This may be your father, a brother, a really good friend. But for some of you, it's someone that you're creating for your love space. And you may know about them already. I don't specifically see the heart cards here, so it can mean one way or the other, depending on what you're working on, sweet Aries. So there is a King of Pentacles in your awareness. That's Capricorn, Taurus, or Virgo. And it looks like they have some answers on resolution for this kind of predicament that you are seeking to resolve. So the moon sign is in your future position. And I know that the moon can stand for maternal things, cleaning up your mother stuff. It can also be for the sign of Cancer. The moon is the sign of Cancer. So if you do have a Cancer person in your life, this may stand for them. But in overall, it's really resolving some things that are deep inside. The moon reflects our inner side. The sun reflects our exterior side. So go in a little deeper. Don't overthink it, but you may have to go in a little deeper and release some tendencies, some habits, some things that really aren't in line with your growth. But it also, for many of you, can be resolving some issues with mother, or legacy issues that mother gave you if mom is not on the planet. But this is feeling that there's a little bit of challenge for some of you on that mother path. And it's your mother, not you as a mother. But it looks like you're getting closer and closer to some information. And I'm feeling, for those of you that are working on mother stuff, that there will be some resolution pretty soon. But it feels a little frustrating around mom and trying to resolve some things. I know You know, when you're in a little older earth suit, a little older body, sometimes our parents have medical issues, mental issues, things that we have to deal with. So it does look like something has to have 100% of your focus for a minute, just for a minute, because it looks like you have a lot of things on your plate, but really focusing in for mom stuff. And for those of you that are continuing to unearth some of the inner turmoil, that will continue a little bit, but there will be resolution. So the moon. The moon is a wonderful intrinsic card. It allows us to really go deep, really look at what's going on if we're honest with ourselves and completely make a change from that space. So that's a good card, but it does require a little work, a little intrinsic thought, and a little action after that. So the basis of all this, why you have a couple of travel cards and looking into the future, the three is the Three of Wands. Wands are action again, and you've got two action cards looking out in the distance. So you're really studying your future, Aries, and really looking at how you want it to look. You know, you've trundled along, having it look one way for however many years that you've been on the planet, but it looks like you're really doing an overhaul of your life, your habits, your desires, your connection with people, your communication, and really wanting to clean up some things that have not been working for you, whether they're addictions or the way you communicate, but the things that really haven't worked for you and that you've been challenged on for your lifetime. So it looks like you're looking at those a little bit, really releasing the things that don't work. And I mean really releasing it, not just thinking about it and not just looking at it. You are really doing the work. So congratulations, Aries. You are stepping into your fear and doing it anyway. This is the fear card, the fear of theft. But I do think you are creating some kind of distant or foreign travel. It's feeling like you're planning a trip. There's two trip cards, so it looks like in the near future a trip is in order for you, sweet Aries. The next card here is the fear card. It can stand for, you know, trusting the people that you shouldn't have, or just being fearful that someone will steal your personal belongings, your partner. Just if you make these changes, these are the fears that are coming up for you, and they're just fears. It doesn't look like it's actual. So sweet Aries, please just fear the things that are in front of your face, not the things that may happen. So get out of that space of the fear space and walk right through it and do what you need to do for yourself. It's going to come out the way it's supposed to come out, and just holding on to this fear that I know if I do this, this will happen. And it's not necessarily that. It is not necessarily that. So do not let your fear stand in the way of you flying. Do you hear that, Aries? Do not let your fear stand in the way of you flying into your happiness, into your bliss. So that is the fear card. It also looks like it's along the line of other people too. If you make these changes, it'll upset these other people. But, you know, kids and family members, our friends, they're happy when we're happy, if they're truly have heart space for us. So the Empress is here. This is also a nurturing card. This is a nurturing something till it grows. So it can stand for pregnancy, whether it's wanted or unwanted, Aries. It doesn't necessarily mean it's you. It could be. So be responsible if that's not what you want. But it does stand for pregnancy, stands for nurturing. It stands for planting a seed and seeing it grow and nurturing it till it becomes either a baby, or it becomes a plant, or it becomes an idea that becomes a new company, a new passion. So plant those seeds. Do the effort that you have to do, Aries. Do not run away from the hard work, because the payoff here over the next month or so is really great. It's really great, but you must do the work. I know sometimes, Aries, you get stuck in your head and not knowing how to make that first step. Just push through the fear, make that first step. The culmination card for all this is a 9. So this is one of, it depicts not being able to sleep, too much on your mind. Worries are hanging heavy over your head, but it looks like a lot of the worries that are hanging over your head that you really don't have anything to do about them. They are not yours to worry about. It looks like extended fears based on this upcoming decision of movement, upcoming decision of planting the seeds. So please don't sit in that fear of how it's going to affect others. As long as you are of pure heart, you communicate with no manipulation, with love and kindness, and just follow your heart and follow your dreams. So that is what's happening, Aries. You are starting to follow your dreams, just not knowing how it's going to turn out. Losing a little sleep about it. It may be affecting your stomach as well. It may also be producing headaches. When we overthink things, you know, it's dis-ease in our soul, which creates dis-ease in our body. So please don't stay in that place too long. I think that you're going to get validated. Once you start the ball in motion, you will be validated. The devil is on one side. It can be trickery, it could be lying, it also can be a temptation. So if you have made some of these changes and there's a temptation, a great example is if you have broken up with somebody or you're divorcing, and all of a sudden, you know, all the right reasons, you've left for all the right reasons, and you start to grow, and then that person comes back just to kind of tempt you. Are you sure you want to grow without me? Are you sure? Could be a job too, a job you've decided that you don't really want to do, and you've started applying, you're getting good responses, and all of a sudden the job that you really loathe, they're offering you something just as a temptation. All it is a temptation. It is not necessarily the way that you should go. You know, every time we're on the path, we start feeling good about ourselves, that's when people want to take something from us. So guard yourself a little bit. And when your foot is firmly planted on that path of forward motion, it wouldn't surprise me if some temptations come back. It is just a test, and you can pass it if you're ready to. You can pass it if you're ready to. The King of Swords is here on the other side. This is an air sign. This is an Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. This may have to do with the temptation too. For those of you who are coupled up, there may be a temptation of another person coming into your life, or some advice that was not warranted or was not asked for, that is maybe not so good for you. But it is, this King of Swords is right next to the fear, losing sleep, and the temptation. So I tend to think that this king, even though he is representing himself as an exalted person that is looking out for your best interests, it doesn't feel that way in this reading. It feels like he, or the exalted she, is a temptation. Part of this temptation could be a boss. It's all of a sudden, you know, giving you your accolades right before you're halfway out the door. But this is something that it feels false, that there is, they have personal gain. They have personal gain by doing this, which is not in your best interest. It's in their best interest. So that is your general reading for the month of February, Aries. I am going to throw a couple clarity cards, and these are my chakra cards. So we'll see service. Okay, time to do a little service. Maybe that would help get you some clarity. And for those religious folks that may be going back to church and destiny. Okay, it looks like you have big things in your destiny that you've been kind of ignoring for a while, putting off things, focusing on other people, other places, could be our kids, you know, parents. But now it's time to really focus on your destiny. And it looks like you are firmly planted, much so more now than ever before. And service is giving of yourself unconditionally. If you have been giving because of out of obligation, that's not a good place to give from. You give from service. You give service out of unconditional love with absolutely no expectation of a return. So it looks like you are slipping into that service position instead of the have to of service. You're choosing the things that you would like to do. It's not just expected of you, but it's your choice.